a lot of what you see for promoting and stuff is oriented around Instagram ads. Like if you go to YouTube and type promote your music and get Spotify streams, 90% of the content now is going to be Instagram story ads. And Andrew Southworth was a big reason for why people are talking about that. But speaking from somebody who's been marketing for years and freelancing, I can tell you that email lists are the gold standard. And so what's nice about emails is if that's somebody that has like consented to be like, hey, like I want you to like contact me personally when you got some new shit, you know, like there if you have somebody's email, you've already broken through the noise.
What's up, guys? Just wanted to give you a quick intro of this video. It's basically like a podcast, I suppose, the first in, I want to do a lot of these. This is just kind of a first one as a test. We did this actually on IG Live, and I just downloaded the video from IG Live. I sat down with an artist. His name is Paisley, and I'll have his links down below. You can follow all of his channels, but he's a rapper. We found each other on SubmitHub, and I just was going to give him some tips of how to like promote his music, and it was just going to be like a regular call, but then we decided to do it on IGTV Live just because other people might get useful information out of it, and I thought you guys might as well, so I'm going to upload it here to YouTube, and I'm going to start doing more of these, but they'll be better quality in the future. This was just on our phones because it was kind of just on a whim, so sorry for the bad quality, but I think there's some good information there that you can glean. So anyway, yeah, so this is the podcast with Paisley. I hope you guys enjoy it.
What's happening, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, we got it. You know, it took a second, but
oh yeah, there we go.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm great, man. How you doing?
Doing awesome, man. Doing awesome. Another day in paradise.
Sweet. There you go, man. Good to hear. Yeah, same here, man.
Let me see if I can close this window. Hold on. I got a big old pop-up on my screen. All right. That's good enough. Whatever. It's fine. We're popping.
Sweet.
Nice. So you're over in Idaho. Do you live in Idaho or are you just visiting Idaho?
Yeah, I live in Idaho. So I'm actually native to California. Oh, hold on. Let me get that off.
Oh, nice.
So I'm California native. I lived there my whole life. And then my dad retired maybe 3 or 4 years ago and decided to move out here. And nice. I actually had stayed in Los Angeles. So I stayed in LA for another couple years and then decided I needed some change. I had started doing music out there and didn't really see kind of what I didn't really have much future plans. I didn't know how I wanted to go about it, and it wasn't really evolving the way I wanted to, you know. My progression wasn't the way I wanted it to be. Oh, real quick, do I sound okay? Does my voice sound good?
Sound good to me, yeah.
Okay, sweet. Just making sure. I have it set up on something, so I didn't know if it was going to be kind of weird.
Gotcha.
But so anyway, and so I didn't know what I was doing. I was still just working like 9-to-5 jobs and making music on the side and everything. And then I actually ended up moving to New Zealand last year, 2019. Yeah, December of 2019. So I was there from December 2019 to July 2020. And then obviously COVID hit and everything. And it was pretty nuts out there, you know, with the whole lockdown and everything. But it was a great opportunity for me. I connected with my music a lot deeper on a more personal level. Really started to evolve my sound and everything. I had taken off a few months before New Zealand and then got back into it there. So that's kind of where I found Paisley and everything that I'm doing now kind of evolved out there. So that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then in July, I moved back here to Idaho. I decided not to go back to LA so I could be with family out here in Idaho and everything, you know, visit family and try a different state. And then in December of this year, just got even more serious about my music and decided is what I wanted to do for a career. And then I got my Neumann, got my laptop and everything, and got some decent music equipment and started really recording and everything, you know. So yeah, this is where I'm from now, hailing from Idaho, Boise, baby.
Yeah, I mean, what's nice about, like one thing about like music that's kind of hard is like, you know, it's to like run into it full time and to get into it, there's a lot of like gear you have to buy and it's kind of pricey. And so if you're living somewhere like LA where the prices of living are also really high, it's super hard to find that balance because there's just no way you can like leave the 9-to-5 grind and also do music until you get like super well established. Like it takes a while to start, you know, making money off of music and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice. Like I moved, I'm in northeastern Washington, so I'm in like a small rural town where my dad grew up and lived down the street from my grandparents. So I like worked for years, and then just my goal was to kind of save enough money to where I could like buy a house and have a mortgage that was, you know, $500 a month or less, because $500 is an easy, you know, if you consider that your rent, you know, it's an easy thing to scrounge up doing any sort of part-time work. So, and I was freelancing, so because I was living over outside of Seattle, and I was in Seattle for a while, and it's just stupid expensive over there. I mean, prices there are crazy like they are in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like I'm freelancing, I'm working from home. Like there's no reason for me to be living in this area where everything is so expensive. Like it's just so much more of a grind just to get established, where if you move somewhere cheaper, you know, your money goes a lot farther. So if you're, you know, freelancing from home, or just, you know, got a job that can be transferable, you know, even if you leave your job in a city that's expensive and move somewhere that's cheaper, and you get a job that pays less, you're also paying less for cost of living, and, you know, more peace of mind with like less traffic and stuff like that, and, you know, less of the grind and stress that you deal with in a city. So yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to being in both areas, because LA obviously does have like a music scene, so, you know, there's benefits of being there, but there's also a lot of noise. So like trying to stand out there, just like standing out anywhere, can be kind of tricky.
Yeah. My thing is where I'm at, and that's cool about your story, man. It's cool to hear that you've been out there for a while, you know. But out here, it's interesting. I like it because, like you said, it is quiet. But again, it is, the music scene, especially for hip hop, is not huge at all, man. So I'm actually gonna move back to LA in August, I think, probably around August. Because, you know, again, it is cool to be out here, but my best friends all live in LA as well. So I'm probably going to be heading back there just because that's how I see myself finding a bigger team. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Definitely.
And I know how to stand out. I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm saying? I've always been able to put myself, you know, out there and above what other people are doing, even if we're doing similar stuff. You know, I'm just that type of person. I have that type of dedication, you know, so I'm not too afraid of LA eating me up. I've already been out there. It already ate me up once, and I learned an unbelievable amount of stuff, man. Like you said, you know, it's intense to be living in a big city like that. The energy is a lot different. You know, there's almost 40 million people that live in California compared to the 4 million people that live out here in Idaho, you know, so it's a lot more moving parts and everything. But I think being where the industry, you know, I mean, LA is one of the biggest music industries in the world, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely,
especially for hip hop. I mean, mostly hip hop clubs out there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'll head back there probably around then. So you've been in your hometown for how long? In that town that you're living in right now?
Since October 2019, I moved out here.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And so you ended up buying a house out there?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it was cheap. It was kind of just a stroke of good timing. I was like working like I do freelance. I do like freelance design and marketing. That's kind of my trade, leading up to now. And I had like I had an established business for a while, and we had like a contract with a company that was like a pretty decent sized contract. And we knew we were going to terminate that contract because we were kind of getting burnt out working for them. But, you know, working as freelance, it's hard to convince a bank that you have a reliable source of income when you're just freelancing and everything could just change overnight. You know, people might stop calling, you know, you might lose gigs. And so it was just kind of a stroke of luck. Like I knew that the timing we were going to end that contract. And if I was going to get a house and get financing for it, this was the time to do it, because as soon as that contract is done, the bank doesn't have any way to know that I have like a reliable source of income. So I was like, all right, well, I need to make a move now. And it just so happened I had come to town because my grandpa had a surgery and I needed to help him out, just with stuff around the house, because it was nothing super serious. He just couldn't like move and stuff. And so I needed to like just help around with like taking care of his garden and stuff like that. And the house down the street for them was for sale, just coincidentally at that same time. And it was just like a cheap price, and it was a nice little house. And I'm like, fuck, this is like a good time. Like I'm not going to be able to, you know, as it's like within my price range, like I wouldn't be able to afford anything like this in the Seattle area anytime soon. So if I'm trying to get a house and, you know, get that cheap mortgage, this is the time to do it. And the stars just kind of aligned. And now I'm just kind of running with just doing everything independently, and now into music, and just, you know, I've like I told you before, I've like started playing music when I was like 14. I got my guitar or something like that, and never got super serious about it. And then I learned music production years ago, and I'm like, this is fucking dope. I need to like run with this. This is like super fun. And now I'm just taking all the knowledge I have from years of marketing and design and just applying it to music, and just trying to find people like you that are super talented and figure out how I can help you guys promote your music, and kind of just build a crew and just kind of do it all together. And then, yeah.
I love it, man. And it's cool because I like that you already have freelance experience. So not even experience, beyond that, you've already gone full-time freelance. So you understand that music is the same way. It's a freelance gig. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
It's like there's no clock in and out. There's no hourlies. There's no commissions. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing.
You get out whatever you put in. That's it.
Literally,
you could
man.
slack off. You could fuck off for a week straight, but you're not going to make any money that week, and you might piss off some clients and lose clients. And, people are going to stop watching. If you're a content creator, you're going to lose traction on all your platforms. Like if you stop putting it in, you stop getting it out. So it's just, up to you to make it work.
Yeah. Which is, and I think I like that. And I think it can be intense and scary for some people. Which is, I think, because I've been kind of thinking about reasons that other people, and I don't think about it often because I'm usually trying to worry about my success and my, people around me success. I don't worry about other people's failures because, failures happen for many different reasons, but I was just thinking some of the reasons that other people aren't able to make it to the levels of success that they potentially want to be at. You know what I'm saying? And I think some of the reasons are simple stuff. Like, I was reading that book, Think and Grow Rich, and it talks a lot about dedication and simple stuff like that, dedication. Yeah. It talks about different fears that hold people back. And I think it's never the major stuff. Like everybody has talents that they could monetize, but staying dedicated day in and day out when you're not seeing money flow in like that,
right.
It can scare people, and
definitely.
I'm not doing full time. I still work a job, unfortunately. I'm working at Amazon actually, but I actually just moved to Amazon because it gives me a lot more free days. I have 3 free days now, so 3 days on, 4 days off, and it's like a really easy schedule. You know what I'm saying? So It gives me enough free time to do that. But it was difficult at first. I was working a 9 to 5 and I had just started music and everything. And I was moving towards doing more music. It was kind of painful to start, it's like I just worked 8 hours and now I got to work 4 more hours before I go to sleep, on music. Yeah. And I gotta, I have to learn this topic to do this in Ableton. Or I have to record a few bars for tomorrow or whatever, and it's like that is not always the easiest for people, but I think that's what sets out a lot of the bigger artists that I've listened to and heard them, talking about in interviews is just dedication. You know what I'm saying? Just dedication day in and day out when, you're not always seeing, like you have to see in yourself the jewels and the diamonds, and then you'll see that in your own future. You know what I'm saying? I think you got to see it in yourself first. And be your own biggest hype man in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you're the one that's got to convince everybody to come over and listen to your stuff, and you got to put yourself out there. And like I said, just grinding at it. Even if like you're coming home on evenings after work and you don't think you have the creative energy to do it, just like sitting down, committing time to do it, just building that habit. Like building a habit is one of the best things you can do, and just getting used to doing it. If you're not building a habit to doing it, and you're just used to fucking off and just like going and watching YouTube videos or watching TV or just not doing anything or playing video games versus like actually working towards something and building it, you're not going to get anything out of that time. It's so easy just to like, in the age of the internet, to see these like what you think are success stories where somebody had one thing go viral and that's all it took. Somebody just came across their thing and went viral and it blew up. Like there's a lot that went into even before something went viral. Like some people have been content creators for years before one thing goes viral, then one thing goes viral, and that's what takes it off. And there are some stories, where people did just post something and it went like crazy viral on TikTok and they didn't have a big following, and the next thing you know they have 1 million. But you can't bank on that happening. Like the statistics of that happening are like near impossible with how much like content is uploaded every fucking minute on the internet. Like there's just no way. You can't bank on that. Like the only thing you can bank on is your own efforts and putting in the work and just making yourself better and getting better and being honest with yourself and just trying to like build a community around you and kind of bootstrap yourself, in a sense. I mean, you have to really like you said, gotta like put the image in your head and set it as a goal, and then just start chasing it, and then you got to make it happen. It's not going to happen if you don't do anything about it, and it's going to take a while to make it happen. So the time to start is yesterday. So
yeah, hey man, and that's true, and that's a huge truth I think too. Is I was listening to this podcast last night, and they were saying the time to do stuff is now. You know what I'm saying? Like there's never going to be a perfect time to start making music or start whatever you want, whatever your dream is. You know what I'm saying? Like if I waited for the perfect time to start my music, you would have never heard my music. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it perfect? Not even close. You know what I'm saying? Not close, but it's great for what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for what it is. It's not it's not perfect by any standard, but no music.
It's dope though. Let's be real. It's pretty dope though.
Music is subjective, man. The fact that, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about SubmitHub, and anybody that's listening that hasn't used SubmitHub for their music, it is I think it's quite cool.
It definitely is. Yeah.
It's a really cool tool for artists, you know, and I use the Hot or Not to, you know, just to gauge some opinion, you know, because I don't have a team out here, so I can't have people telling me what they, you know, you know, I wanted some feedback for some of my songs, you know, and
definitely,
like, for example, on Violets, how you found me, you know, I had, you know, some people give it 20, some people give it 30, some people give it 100, some people give it 90. You know, it's like,
it's all over the place.
Like, how are you feeling that day? Do you want to hear hardcore hip hop, or did you want to hear something like, you know, something poppy, you know? So it's like, you know, I don't listen to the same music every day. I like electronic music. I like rock. I like classic rock. I like hip hop. I like rap, you know, I like whatever, you know. I'm a huge EDM fan, you know, house music fan. So, you know, if I'm not feeling, you know, hip hop that day, but it's like, I don't know, it's all about just doing stuff. Like, if I waited, like, I wrote Violets in October or November of last year, and, you know, I was always, quote unquote, waiting for the perfect time. Like, I had all these songs that I'd written, and I started recording them, and I was like, no, I'll do Violets later, you know, I'll do that later, like, when I'm better, you know, because I like that song. I'm like, I'll do it when I'm more professional. But doing it and getting it done and completing that project was a huge success for me, because it wasn't, you know, it was unique to what I'm doing and what I see my vision being, you know, and just getting stuff done and starting it and completing it is a huge motivator and boost in people, you know, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, one thing about, like, you know, I've definitely sat on tracks for a while, or like beats I think are like super cool or some of that, waiting for the right time. But, you know, honestly, there's a lot to say for that, you know, waiting until you have a bigger audience to share something really rad. But at the same time, if you're not sharing your dopest stuff, you're probably not going to get, you're not going to get as big of a following as you normally could, because, you know, people want to hear your super dope stuff. And the other thing is that, and this is something that just kind of occurred to me, like, you know, a couple months ago, is like, hey, like, if I have something that's super dope, why should I wait? Like, if I put it out now, and that's the bar I set for myself, then everything else I work on, I'm going to have to make sure that I hit that level of energy and that hype, and then you're going to work to kind of recreate that. Whereas if you hold on to that and you're like, I got this cool thing, but I'm going to release stuff down here, at like, what point are you going to let yourself grow to that threshold and start releasing above that? Like, you know, and if you're promoting it and putting money behind it, and you know, you have that as part of your, like, portfolio of what you're working on, then you can boost that track and get a lot of listeners on that track. And I think that's sort of one thing where a lot of people don't realize that there's an opportunity for it. And that's kind of what we're getting into, is with, like, promoting the music, is, you know, don't wait until your following's big to get that track out there, because if you're doing proper promotion, you can get people listening to that track, and you can get it popping. Like, you should, I mean, you can release something and wait to build a following and then release more and more. But if you release something, you can use that as a tool to build your following. So there's no reason just to sit on something amazing. Yeah, I mean, SubmitHub, that's like one really cool spot. And what's cool about Submit, like, I actually didn't even know about SubmitHub until about a week and a half ago.
Same.
I had never even heard of it, which is, like, I'm surprised, because I'm like pretty deep into learning, into, like, music marketing and promotion. I've spent just so much of the last, like, 6 months just, like, learning. And yeah, I discovered, like, SubmitHub, and I'm like, yeah, this is such a cool spot to just, like, even upload a draft of a track, like, and get feedback before you even go live with it. And you just build hype even just that way. I mean, you can spend you know, $6 on SubmitHub to get 50, you know, guaranteed reviews of your track, and those people are, like, actual listeners, and you'll get good feedback. And you know, you mentioned, like, one thing that's nice about it is, even if you don't have a crew, you can use SubmitHub to get some feedback. But honestly, even if you do have a crew, I'd still even submit to SubmitHub, because your crew is, people in your circle, you never know if they're going to tell you what you want to hear, or if they're going to tell you something just to make you happy. Yeah. And so you're probably not going to get honest feedback from everybody in your crew. People are like, yeah, that's cool, but they might hate a certain element of the track, but they're not going to tell you because they don't know how you're going to feel about it. Whereas SubmitHub, it's anonymous people. Like, the people that are random on the internet, they'll give you their 100% direct, honest feedback. Like, if your shit sucks, they'll let you know.
Yeah.
And you know, if you get, like you said, like some people like, you know, put on your track, they give it like a 20 or a 30 out of 100, and you know, maybe you get good feedback, maybe they're just like trolling, whatever. Like, it's, people are weird how they rank. Like I had people that were like giving me like a 40 on a track and then comment like, this is dope, like dancing the whole time, love this track. I'm like, well, then what the fuck did you give it a 40 for? Like, could you at least give me some like constructive feedback or why you gave it a 40? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, so like if you, we can just kind of start now getting into strategies for like promoting tracks. If you want to move into that, get into the fun stuff.
Take it away, boss man. Let's get into it.
So one key thing to anybody watching, if you want to really learn, so first of all, and I saw on your Instagram, you've already done this, you know, setting your Instagram to a creator account, a business or creator account. That's a huge step, first of all, because you get, it's free. And it's free to change your account to that, and you get access to like insights and all kinds of stuff to see your demographics. But more importantly, you get access to promotions. So I don't know if you've done any sort of Instagram or Facebook promos, or have you ever messed anything with Facebook ads?
So I haven't yet. I done both of my first two songs. I did YouTube ads for them. So I have a Google Ads account. So I kind of understand how that works a little bit. But I have not done you know, I'm working on building my Instagram. I was so focused on music the last month that I haven't even been updating it, which is terrible. Obviously not good for in general. Not a suggest, guys. Not a suggest. Really try to keep your Instagram up and busy. But so I have not yet, but I'm going to be very serious about over the next like 3-4 months about posting a lot more often, especially now that I'm talking to you and getting more information on it. So I haven't done it yet, no, but I definitely would, you know, need to. I know I'm not exactly how it really works. Not yet. I haven't used it. So.
Yeah. So there's one guy on YouTube. His name's Andrew Southworth. I would definitely like write his name down and look him up. He has a lot of tutorials. Yeah.
Sorry. I have my notebook right here. I didn't even have a pen. I'm like, all right. What was the name again? Andrew Southworth?
Yeah, Andrew Southworth. So he does, he's like an electronic producer. His main content now is, it's like social media marketing for music, and it's specifically in order to get like Spotify streams. So, because one thing you can use Facebook ads for, and it's one of the best, and specifically using Instagram story ads, is you can set up like these little like Facebook pixel conversion events to where you have like a landing page set up, and when somebody like clicks, you have like buttons that say like stream on Spotify or, you know, stream on Apple Music, and when somebody clicks one of those, it's called a conversion event. You like set it up as a conversion event in Facebook ads, and you run campaigns specifically to trigger that conversion event. So you're basically running these story ads that are like, hey, I got this track out, like go check it out, you know, swipe up to listen, or it's just an Instagram story ad of just the actual track itself just playing, and then it's like swipe up to listen on Spotify or whatever. Right. And then people swipe up and it takes you to that landing page, and then you click that conversion event and they head over to Spotify, and then you're starting to get Spotify streams. And it takes a while to figure out kind of how to get it all set up. Andrew has a ton of really cool video. I mean, he has like hours and hours of content of just talking about this, so he can go into it a lot more deep than we can on, you know, before our phone batteries die. But that's a really good resource. But one of the main premises behind using paid ads when you release a track on Spotify is once you release a track on Spotify, if you can if you get a ton of streams on your track within like the first week or so, that's what gets you onto release radar. And then once you get on people's release radar, that's when you're just kind of in Spotify's algorithm, and you're just popping up on people's release radars and like recent tracks when they're just browsing on Spotify. And once you trigger that, you're in the money, and you're getting a ton of streams, you're getting followers, and then you don't need to spend as much in advertising because you've hit that release radar threshold. I don't know what the exact amount of streams you have to hit is for it. I think it's probably around like 2,000 to 4,000 streams, I think, in the first couple weeks.
That's pretty small.
Well, because they're really.
I mean, that's big, but I don't know. I was thinking you're gonna say like 100,000, something like that.
Oh no! I mean, that's such a huge threshold. I mean, if to pop up on like some more Discover playlists, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you have that many streams, you're gonna be popping up all over the place on Spotify. But the release radar specifically only highlights tracks. I think once it hits like 3 or 4 weeks, it's no longer eligible for release radar. Okay. So if release radar was 100,000. There's no fucking way anybody but, the Cardi B and Drake and all these fucking people would be able to hit that. And they'd be the only ones on a release radar. Then Spotify would just be a top 40.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. I didn't know that it was all automatic like that. I didn't know that it was
Yeah.
all. I thought Release Radar and everything was probably handpicked by handpicked by the Spotify staff and stuff like that.
No, they have their own playlists. They do that, but the Release Radar is an algorithm because the Release Radar caters to your listening habits. So, like, if you're listening to more EDM and like country, you're going to get EDM and country as more common in your Release Radar. And if you listen to more rock and roll and blues, you're going to get more stuff catered to that. Release Radar caters to it's an algorithm, so it caters to what you listen to.
Okay.
And it just automatically pulls it all. And it's automated. So
it's got an algorithm.
Yeah, so he breaks down kind of ways he optimizes his Facebook campaigns in order to get to that Release Radar. I think realistically you have to spend, around $300 to $500 to like be a pretty solid launch to be able to get to the point to being on a Release Radar.
Worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and then at that point, once you're on the Release Radar, that 500, because if you spend $200 on a campaign and you don't hit that Release Radar, you're missing out on like a ton of potential viewers from the algorithm on that Release Radar.
Yeah.
So you don't get as much bang for your buck. But if you're spending, $300, $400, $500, and then you hit that Release Radar tier, once you're in that algorithm, you're doubling whatever views you got from paid. You're just getting those. You're basically doubling those, if not more, from that Release Radar. So your cost per list for stream goes down if you're spending more, just because you get into that algorithm and you can start making some money back from your streams.
Got a question on that. So do you suggest running your own Facebook ads, learning how to do all the Facebook ads yourself and learning how to do all the Instagram ads yourself? Or do you suggest going online and finding some type of, some sort of system or somebody that does it for you, maybe a freelancer or something like that you're spending money on? It makes more sense to do that, or what do you think?
You could do either one. Economically, no, because you're on top of the ads budget. You're also going to have to pay that person, whatever their cost is to do promos. It's not super hard to get set up. I mean, I would definitely, try to run through it. Then I can even help you get set up and get it squared away. Cool. But you can also have people do it. I mean, one thing that I want to do eventually with this channel once I get bigger is I want to have like a Patreon account set up. And one of my Patreon tiers is going to be like a marketing promotion tier. So for like a certain amount, I'll do all your Facebook marketing promo and stuff. But I'm only going to cap it off at a certain amount because I want to make sure whoever I'm working with, I have the time to focus on them. I'm only one person.
Sure.
So, but there are a lot of freelance people that do it. You're just gonna have the extra cost of paying them their time. And it's really not that difficult to get set up and squared away. And some of the content that I'm going to be making is just sort of stuff to show you how to kind of get set up, like how to, get a Facebook pixel set up on your website and, getting a website set up for yourself and all the different ways you can use a website. Because like one thing that's really common, have you seen like link trees? Are you familiar with Linktree? And
yeah, I've seen Linktree. I'm pretty sure. Is that what you're talking about? Where you click on a link and then it gives you all the other links to your socials and stuff, like your Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, and all that stuff. Is that what it is?
Exactly. Yeah. So I have a Squarespace website set up. So I basically have a landing page set up on my Squarespace site that basically functions as a link tree. Because if you want to get like analytics and like more features on Linktree and like customize it more, you have to start paying. I think it's like $6 a month, and that's pretty similar with like Solo TO and Link in Bio. They all charge a monthly cost. But for $12 a month, you can just get a Squarespace website set up, and Squarespace lets you you can make a landing page that works similar to a Linktree, but you also have a whole website that you can use for whatever you want. To have like bookings or gigs, to share your music. It goes a long way having a website. That's actually one of the videos I'm going to be making soon, is talking about ways you can use a website and, maybe instead of using a link tree, putting that money towards a website, where you can also use that website to install like the Facebook pixel and run campaigns using your website. And there's a lot of ways that can be super beneficial.
And your website's a Squarespace website?
It is. Yeah.
It looks very professional.
Thank you. I learned how to code websites in middle school before there was any of Squarespace or WordPress or any of these content management systems, just learning to code from scratch. That's one of the main gigs I do is web design. I used to actually hate Squarespace. I used to think it was really bad, and it was like almost too simple and it was really too dumbed down. But they kind of made it a lot better over the years. And now if I'm making websites for people, I like to just make it in Squarespace, because it's really hard. It's hard to, you can't, they designed the platform to basically be impossible to break. So even if you don't have any idea how to do anything web related, you can go make a Squarespace website and it won't break, which is nice. Because then as somebody who's like designing websites for people, I don't have to worry about a call in the middle of the night saying, hey, my website's down, what the fuck's going on? And then I have to like get up and like code a bunch of shit and fix their website.
Yeah.
And the other thing is they make it really hard to make an ugly website, which is also important, because
that's cool.
Some platforms give people a little too much creative control and people just end up making whack stuff. I mean, not everybody's a designer. It is what it is. It's kind of like, you remember like MySpace back in the day, where people could customize their profiles, and some profiles were super dope, and other ones you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I can't even use this. Like, the colors are weird. Yeah, Squarespace helps protect a lot it helps protect you from yourself a little bit in that realm where you can't really make an ugly website. But yeah, you can use it to make a link tree and stuff like that too. And I use it to run like Facebook ad campaigns and stuff like that. So yeah, Facebook ads are definitely one solid route. I have a track actually coming out on Friday to where I'm going to deploy this as much as possible. Although I'm not super stoked on the track, but it actually sucks. I had this. It's the most recent one on my SoundCloud. It's like that Dance With Me one, that's actually a draft you hear. But what happened is my Ableton file got corrupted and I lost the entire track. So I had made a second version, and the second version was, I mean, that draft you hear, it's pretty dialed in to begin with, but there was like, I changed the vocoding a lot, and I changed the lyrics around and did some more stuff to make it pop more, and then Ableton went corrupt, so all I had was that backup file. And luckily it was like a mastered track, and it is what it is. I mean, people seem to like it, so it's fine, but I just know what it could have been. And I just really don't want to remake it. But yeah, I'm watching with that because I had another Spotify account set up, but because I didn't start this as Gorley Records, I started this just using my name, just Nick Gorley, and just running with that. But I'm like, I don't really want this to be like an artist page. Like, I really want to get into like helping people promote their music and using this as a channel to like collaborate and work with other artists. And I just felt that changing it into something like Gorley Records was going to be an easier way to kind of show that that's what I'm doing and stuff. It's just like it was more of like a brand to build. And so I got rid of my old Spotify. And so this new one, now that I know even more about marketing and promo, I'm going to go to town, even though I don't even know if I might just delete this track later once I get more music, but we'll see how it goes. But I want to put a bunch of money behind promoting anyway, just because I want to do a full proof of concept and show that this can work and how easy it is and anybody can kind of do this.
Cool, man.
So that comes out Friday. But yeah, so I also use Facebook ads because this is also like a content creation channel. I also use Facebook ads, for example, I made like a music theory cheat sheet. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
I saw part of the video. That's cool, man. Anybody can just like, go and download this thing, and but it's set up on my website, and to download it, you just like enter your email, and then it gets emailed to you, and then you can download and use it. But in doing that, it's also building an email list. So as I'm creating tracks to release, I can send it out to people in the email list and use that as advertising as well. And so you can set up even that works for this because I have this cheat sheet. But obviously, if you're just an artist page, you're not going to have a cheat sheet. So what you can also do is set up like a similar campaign on your website where you can download your track for free. And all people have to do is send in their email. So you could have like Violet or whatever track you're releasing, or maybe you have like a whole EP. You can have that on your website, and you can set up an email campaign. There's an app. It's called MailChimp. And you can just say, yes, download all my tracks for free here. Just give me, sign up with your email, and then then there's in MailChimp or whatever email platform you're using, you can set up a campaign to where as soon as somebody signs up to your emailing list, they're instantly sent an email with the download links, and then they just click download, and then they have all the links. And the thing about emails, I mean, a lot of what you see for promoting and stuff, is oriented around Instagram ads. Like if you go to YouTube and type promote your music and get Spotify streams, 90% of the content now is going to be Instagram story ads. And Andrew Southworth was a big reason for why people are talking about that. But speaking from somebody who's been marketing for years and freelancing, I can tell you that email lists are the gold standard for music.
The thing with an email list is you can require emails pretty cheap. Like on my campaigns, so I've set up YouTube ads and I've set up Facebook ads to that music theory cheat sheet. And on Facebook ads, I can get an email for about 30 cents. And on YouTube ads, I can get an email for about 25 cents. I like to do on YouTube ads more because on top of getting an email on YouTube ads, they're also going to the video, they're watching the video, which is increasing my time on YouTube to get qualified for the partner program. They're subscribing to the YouTube channel, they're watching other videos, and they're also downloading the cheat sheet. And so what's nice about emails is if that's somebody that has like consented to be like, hey, like I want you to like contact me personally when you got some new shit, you know, like if you have somebody's email, you've already broken through the noise of everything on social media. You know, you could have 1,000 followers on social media, but you post something and, you know, because the organic reach isn't that great on social media, unless you're boosting it, you might only hit, you know, 5 to 10% of those people. And then only maybe 1% of those people will actually, you know, go listen to your track. Or 1% of your following total will go listen to your track. Whereas with an email list, I mean, those people, they want to hear from you. You got a direct feed into their inbox, and sending them an email once you have acquired that email doesn't really cost you anything. So, you know, if you have an email list of 20,000 people and you send out an email, you know, maybe you get 20% of those people that click through, you know, that's 20%. That's 4,000 people that would have clicked through to your Spotify, and you're instantly getting 4,000 listens on all your Spotify tracks. And that cost of that email, you've already gotten that up front when you did your ad and collected that email address.
That's so
yeah. So if you have, you know, if you release 10 tracks, what's that?
Genius.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you release like a track every month and you have an email list, you know, you paid 30 cents for email up front, but now you just have that email list. So you can just email them every month. You know, don't bombard them. If you bombard them too much, they'll just unsubscribe. And not everybody will open and listen to it. But regardless, that's an audience that you've built, that you own, that you can take wherever you want. So even if you know, Instagram dies or Facebook dies and you lose that following, you still have your email list, and you can use that to promote events. You know, you can build email lists locally. So when you move back to LA, you can build your list in ways to find people that are in LA. And then when you have a gig, you can be like, hey, I'm performing at this venue in LA, you know, on Tuesday, like come check it out. I don't know how many hip hop events are on Tuesdays, but
hey man, Paisley will be out there on Tuesdays. He'll be out there grinding.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a huge way. And I've actually shifted a lot of my marketing in order to build that mailing list, because I mean, emails are gold, man. Emails are some of the best conversions for marketing for any brand. You know, I mean, you consider, you know, as you're building yourself up, you know, you gotta figure it out. You build yourself as a brand. You know, that's kind of how you want to view how you're building your artist page. You know, like whether you're a content creator, whether you're a musician or, you know, a podcaster, whatever it is, a brand is what you're trying to build, and you're trying to get people behind that brand in any way possible. So so emails are a huge one that I don't really hear a lot of people talking about, but hopefully I'm going to work to change that. Maybe people realize the value in it, because I have used emails for marketing for all kinds of different brands and stuff through the years, and email marketing is one of the best returns on your investments for anything that you can get for marketing.
So what do you suggest? So it makes sense, you know, especially since you're saying release radar is about 3,000, you know, 3 to 4,000. Like you said, if you have an email list of 20,000, you're converting at 20% because your email list is more personal, right? And you're saying it's going to have a better click-through rate. If you can get to that, you know, 4,000 mark on Spotify, then you're getting, you know, more organic through the release radar and everything. So what would because I mean, this is genius, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I was able to meet you. You know, SubmitHub, man, I see people, it's so funny, man. Some people are being a little down on SubmitHub in the, you know, chat section, and me, I'm stoked about it. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, I think people are expecting that like they're gonna go on SubmitHub, put one song and get like 20,000 listens or something like that, you know? And I'm like, for me, I'm like, this is way more valuable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's awesome, man. I'm glad I was able to meet with you. But a quick question on the email list. What's one of the best ways to build this? Are you purchasing emails like off of a bulk email?
No.
You're not doing that, right?
No, fuck no. Don't ever do that. No.
Is that a bad idea?
Because if you buy first of all, there's actually spam laws that prevent you from doing stuff like that. The only way you can actually legally send an email and not get kicked off of your email provider is to like actually build that email list yourself. And like people have to consent into wanting to get your emails. So no, bulk email list. If you go buy a bulk email list, everybody that gets your email is going to report you as spam. And if you're using like MailChimp or whoever your sender is, I would recommend using MailChimp. You're going to get booted off that platform real quick. They are not going to stand for that shit. And it's also illegal. So
Got it.
So and it's just not going to be good. I mean, that's the equivalent of like buying bots on Instagram, or like paying for follows on Instagram. There's all kinds of accounts and stuff that will be like, yeah, like, pay us $20 and you'll get 1,000 followers. Like, you don't ever want to do that shit, because those people, they're just bots. They don't, it may be somebody in a click farm that's actually following you, may not totally be a bot entirely, but that person's not going to like engage with your shit. And it's also going to mess up your demographics. If you pay somebody a click farm, those followers are going to come from India or Brazil or Russia or somewhere. Yeah. And it's going to mess up your audience. If you try to schedule ads and build off your current audience, it's going to dilute your audience, and it's not going to know, Facebook's not going to know who your audience is. Your engagement's going to look bad. I mean, you can so easily tell if somebody has like a fake following. Somebody's got 10,000 followers, but they only have like 20 likes on their post.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you fucking wiener.
That's why I didn't go with Fiverr. I was going to use Fiverr to have somebody, maybe help me with my YouTube. And in the beginning, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to learn how to do it, because I was afraid of that happening. I was like, you know what? And like, my biggest thing is too, every follower that I get and every subscriber that I get, when I get that one, I feel like I earned it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's like a personal battle at that point. It's not like, the numbers are nice to be there and everything, but all 30, it was small amount, but all 30 followers or whatever I have on my YouTube are people I've sent my music to, people that have liked it, people like you, you know what I'm saying? The people that comment, people that, and everything, and they follow all my stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, 30 is not big, but 30 turns into, 3,000 quick when you just keep on that pace, you know what I'm saying? Like, it started at zero to 100 is, I think, a lot harder than 100 to, like 200 or whatever, like it's like that golden ratio. I think starting and getting the small part is a little bit harder than getting like, as you like, it's snowball effect, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for every follower that I have. I'm stoked for all of them, and it can be very personal. You can comment on everyone. And that makes them want to come back for the next video. At least that's what I've seen,
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's cool. You know what I noticed, which is weird? I put up a YouTube ad, and maybe it's because my page is not professional, but I didn't get very many. I got like, maybe 2,000 views off of it. But I didn't get very many subscribers from it, I don't think. So I don't know if maybe I was just doing it wrong. I didn't have the right mindset about it. But
how did you run the ad? What kind of ad did you set up? Was it like a bumper at the beginning of like other videos where it's like an ad that plays before the video? Was it like a search ad? I
think it was one of the search ads where it like pops up as a box, you know what I'm saying? Like on the top, like with the little yellow ad thing, and it just says your video. Yeah. I don't know what your opinion is on
that's what I've used initially, just for like general content videos. I mean, that's what I think. If you're just gonna have a video and it's like not necessarily catered to be an ad, and not like talking to the person directly to try to like get them in, like what you'd see if it was like a pre-roll ad, that plays before the video, the ones with the skip button. Like if you make an ad like that, if you run an ad like that, that should be an ad that's catered specifically to that, because you do have to get that 5-second hook, and if you don't get that hook, they're going to press that skip button. It needs to be like a really engaging, like brief ad in order to really convert them. And it's just kind of in your face, and I am going to make a video specifically to run with that, but the videos that I have been running, it's been that search ad. And the reason I do the search ad is you can target people directly on what they're searching, and they're more opting to click the ad. They're like consenting to look at the ad, whereas a pre-roll ad, it's kind of just in their face. So if somebody's like trying to look and explore for music and they see that, it's like, oh, cool, I can like watch this, music video or whatever. And because they're opting to click it, I think the quality of subscriber is better. Because you can run a pre-roll ad to where there's like an actual subscribe button that appears like on the ad, and you click that ad, and it redirects you to a link, and the link would be your YouTube subscribe link. I don't know if you know, but on YouTube, you can have, there's a link you can make that will actually, when somebody clicks it, it takes you to the YouTube, and it's like, do you want to subscribe to the YouTube? And it's like a little consent thing that pops up. Also, shout out to that Fink. I'm glad you're getting some value out of this info. That's what it's all about. That's why we were talking about doing this Ryan and I talking, and I was like, how about we do it live? Because I think we're gonna be talking about some stuff that's valuable to anybody. So I'm glad people are liking it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Shouts out Fink.
Yep. And make sure to go follow Paisley also.
I'm here for you guys.
Anyway, yeah, so like you can run an ad and then have a little subscribe button. They click that and it takes you to YouTube, and then a little pop-up comes up that says, "Do you want to subscribe to this YouTube?" But that's a little more of an aggressive strategy. And there's content you can definitely make to make that work. But if it's just a standard video, like your lyric video or something like that, I think having it in the search is definitely more valuable. And that's what I've been running. And I actually really like running those YouTube ads. I mean, you can get 3 to 5 cents for a video view, which is pretty cheap. If on Instagram, any sort of Instagram or Facebook ad that I've been running, it's been the minimum I've had to pay for whatever my action is that I want them to do, whether it's like looking at a video in my profile or following me or going to a link on my website. The minimum cost has been 10 cents. So to get half of that cost on YouTube has been super rad. And I also would just like to get qualified to the YouTube Partner Program, which allows me to do ads, because that's a huge way to monetize your YouTube is through those ads. And there's pros and cons to it. You being like just a solely music channel, I could see why if you didn't want ads, that would make sense, because you don't want people to, be interrupted by the flow. You just want them to jump in and listen to your music. But it also is a way for you to monetize your music. You can make a lot of money off that. And, if you've got a lot of YouTube views and running YouTube ads, you can very easily make as much money on that as you could on Spotify or somewhere with just the ads. And you get people subscribing and stuff like that. So yeah, there's definitely multiple ways to do it. But I really like the Google ads personally. The Facebook ads are nice, and there's a lot of really cool conversion events you can set up. But for just day-to-day channel growth, I just think YouTube has way more bang for your buck than Instagram or Facebook ads do.
That's where I'm at. That's why I like YouTube the most. I think I need to build my Instagram probably. Definitely I should say. I definitely know that's part of something I need to be being more on top of. Just because of Instagram's like it's very visceral. It's very personal. I think YouTube's maybe a bit more impersonal. I think Instagram is like you're seeing this person's face. You're seeing their day to day. You're seeing their updates of their music. With YouTube, I think from my page at least, it's only finished products, and I don't have any video or I don't have any actual videos yet. Soon to come, but not out yet. So you're only seeing my lyrics. So I think with your daily story and stuff like that on Instagram, it's very personal. So I think it's good to definitely have a balance. But I could see why the value of the YouTube ads are definitely there. It makes sense. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm glad that I.
The other huge thing too that's super important we haven't even talked about yet is like free ways that you can just like promote your channel and build your following. And this is one of the reasons why I like to put my money in YouTube ads instead of Instagram. Instagram is actually really easy to build your following by just reaching out to people and engaging with people. It's like super, super quick and easy to build up your following. Whereas YouTube, you could go and comment all day. And I've done this. You could comment for days on people's other YouTube channels. And the amount of people you get subscribing back isn't really much. When you're in YouTube Studio in the back end of YouTube, you can just reply to comments back there, and it doesn't really give you a good way to go to that person's profile and check them out. So unless you're actually going to your video page and responding to comments that way, which I don't think most people do. I think most people respond to comments through the back end of YouTube Studio. There's not a good way to just quickly go to their profile. But on Instagram, I'll just commit time, spend half an hour a day just going on Instagram and just searching for people on Instagram and just finding cool stuff. And if somebody's got something dope, just be like, hey, this is fucking awesome. Like, give them a follow, and your chances of them converting back is pretty high. I mean, when I go on little like sprees where I'm just kind of commenting on people and like following, and I can get probably like a third to half the people that I engage with to follow me back. And that's free. It doesn't cost anything. And Instagram is really good for that. And SoundCloud, you can do that as well. You can definitely do it. I do it on SoundCloud also, build a SoundCloud following, and then you're also getting SoundCloud streams and stuff, which you can also monetize that. You can monetize streams on SoundCloud. We can get to that later. But Instagram is like one of the best for doing that organically. And like, if you're going to be doing that, don't just like spam people. Don't just like follow everybody and just like comment fucking flame emojis. Like anytime I see a comment that's like a flame emoji, I'm like that. And like, it's just a flame emoji. I'm like, all right, you're just probably just coming through to try to get me to click to your profile. Like, that's not very genuine. Like I always like to actually listen to what people are doing and be like, hey, like I love that drum you got in there, or like, hey, that's like a super swinging rhythm, generally be interested in what they're doing and commenting that, and you'll get a ton of followers that way. I mean, I started doing that. So in I think about 2 months ago, I had 70 followers, and now I'm at almost 700 with just doing that.
That's
and then
dope, dude.
I also started a YouTube, or not a YouTube, an Instagram called Producers Doing Things, which I'm sure as you saw me, I reposted you on Producers Doing Things.
Oh, was that you?
That is me also.
I was wow, that was quick.
So that one I started that one actually 9 days ago, and I'm already at almost 300 followers on that one.
Dude, that's crazy.
And that's just from rolling through you. That's just all organic. Just going through and contacting people on Instagram and just, you know, being like, this is dope. Like, you know, and I put the hashtag Producers Doing Things on their Instagram, and people are starting to submit to that. Just to have as another platform. That one I will admit I'm a little more spammy and a little more aggressive with, to where like I'll go search for like somebody that's like has a ton of followers on Instagram, and I'll go to their followers list and I'll just like type PROD, you know, prod, because a lot of people have like a prod by, or, you know, Larry prod, you know, for like producer, and I'll just like search for that, and I'll just go spam follow on that account. I don't do that on this account because I want this one to be like actually genuine and get good engagement, but that one, it's just like one of those YouTube accounts anybody can, or I keep saying YouTube, Instagram accounts that anybody can just go and submit to. So I'm just trying to just grow that following. But yeah, in 9 days, I've almost gotten 300 followers on that.
Hey, man.
Granted, I'm rocking off the Doing Things name, which, you know, there's a lot of different Instagrams that have like a Doing Things in them. You know, there's like Animals Doing Things and all kinds of other Instagram accounts that use a similar phrasing as that. So I think people see that and they kind of know what it is when they see it. They know it's one of those accounts, whereas, you know, a personal account, you have to have a more like sentimental approach, because people aren't going to know who you are, you know, especially if you're like an artist name, like, you know, even with you with Paisley Concepts, you know, that's clearly a brand name. It's not like somebody's personal name, but somebody who is trying to grow their Instagram page, that's like, you know, if your name is like, I don't know, Larry Fitzgerald, let's say, we'll just use the name. Let's say you're not the Cardinals receiver, but you're just a guy that makes music. Your name's Larry Fitzgerald.
Did you pull that out of the yearbook, man? Where'd you get that from?
and you're like, you know, you're reaching out to people. If people just like see your comment and it's just a name, see your name in the comments, they're not going to think, you know, you're a brand. You're just going to think you're just a random person that likes their stuff. So it's going to be a lot harder for you to get that person to come over to your profile. But I think when somebody sees something like Gorley Records, they're like, oh, okay, that's like a brand. Like they're like, you know, maybe they're in the music industry in one way or another. Like maybe I'll go check it out. Or they'll see like Paisley Concepts. So like Paisley Concepts, you know, that sounds like a brand name. Like who are these guys? Like what's Paisley Concepts? And then, you know, that curiosity peaks, they click your name, and then they're in your Instagram, and if they like what they see, you know, they give you a follow, which, you know, people are pretty generous with giving follows. It doesn't cost them anything. You know, people follow thousands of people on Instagram. So, you know, just as long as you can get into that noise in the first place, you know, you're in. But that's one of the reasons that because I was trying to run Instagram ads specifically just to get followers. I even have like a video. The ad I'm running, it's like I put my camera inside my acoustic guitar and it's pointing up, so like you see the strings, and it's just cool. Like you see the ceiling, and the ceiling I have like my colored lights on it, and I sort of pop up looking into the hole. I'm like, what the heck are you doing inside my guitar? Why don't you hop on out of there and come follow me on my page? And I make music, all this stuff, and just kind of run a fun stories ad like that, and it gets a lot of people. I get a lot of clicks, but I'm paying about I got it down to where I'm paying about 12 cents a click. And I think only about 10% of those people that click are actually clicking follow. And I have it as a $5 daily budget. So, you know, it's spending $5 a day and I'm only getting, you know, a few follows out of it. Whereas if I sit down for like a half hour and just like reach out to people on Instagram and just engage with them and like, you know, talk about things I like in their, you know, their music or whatever they're working on, a lot of those people will follow you back and they become like a part of your circle and stuff. Like I got all kinds of people that I love commenting on their stuff. They like commenting on my stuff. You know, we're kind of building a community just from reaching out and doing that. And that's hard to do on YouTube. So I've just kind of shifted my ad revenue all to YouTube because that's the one that ad money actually really helps build you. And Instagram, just keeping that is just reaching out to people because it's such a fast way to grow. I mean, if you spend a half hour doing that, you can get 20 followers a day easily, just engaging with people and just scrolling through. So I would recommend anybody that's on Instagram to do that. In SoundCloud, you can do that as well. So one thing that I get in the habit of, do you work from home or do you have to actually go to Amazon and work at Amazon?
I have to go to Amazon, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, even if you're just like sitting around at home, and if anybody listening does work from home, one thing I would recommend is keep SoundCloud, like instead of opening up Spotify, open up SoundCloud and go just search for a genre you like, whether it's, you know, you want to hear lo-fi beats or hip hop, and search by the most recent uploads. So that way it just gives you the most recent, you know, like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. and just listen to their music. And if you like something, comment on something you like about it. Like, hey, like I love the vibes of this track. Like it's super flowing. You know, give that person a follow, and they'll follow you back. I mean, I've been doing that when I'm working. I just have SoundCloud on it. If I hear something I'm vibing with, I flip back to SoundCloud, comment on it, follow on it, and now I have like 350 followers on SoundCloud.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
that's huge,
which
dude.
doesn't sound like a lot, but honest, SoundCloud is like really hard to fucking build a following.
Dude,
so, like,
SoundCloud is one of the hardest, I'd say. Honestly, yeah. It's really difficult, but it also I like it because it's super organic for me. When I'm on SoundCloud and I get a follow and a like and a comment, like I'm like, it
goes a long way. Yeah,
it goes a long ways, and it feels really good, man. It feels really good. SoundCloud's a good one. So that's a great idea, man.
Yeah, and that's been huge. Because I mean, like 350 followers on SoundCloud. Like I always think like one follower on SoundCloud is the equivalent to like five followers on Instagram, with just like what it takes to get a follower on SoundCloud. And the nice thing about doing that is like you're getting a ton of streams. So like on the SoundCloud, I like on the track I posted a month ago, and just from commenting on everybody, I now have 321 listens on that track. 447 on the next one down, 287 just from my spotlight. And a month ago, 321, views. That's not a ton, but that's all organic. That didn't cost me anything. And the other thing is that I don't know if I don't know if you have to be registered for SoundCloud Pro to get this, but have you heard of Repost by SoundCloud?
I've heard of it, but I haven't learned anything about it. I just saw that pop up. It was something that was talking about it, but I don't know exactly what it is.
So what Repost lets you do is it actually lets you mark your tracks for monetization, and you get paid per stream just like you do with Spotify. So if you don't have Repost, you should probably go sign up for Repost, and I don't remember if you have to have SoundCloud Pro to get it. I have SoundCloud Pro. I got it last year. They were doing like a half off sale, so I bought it, and I'm going to renew it again. Even though it's expensive, it's like to renew it now, it's like $150 for the year, which is kind of pricey. But you get a lot of really cool insights. And I'm pretty committed to growing my SoundCloud. So I think it will have long-term value for me. But with Repost, it's like a separate app. And yeah, you can mark for monetization. And one of the things that SoundCloud actually just announced, and they're starting this, beginning of April, actually, April 1st, this comes into effect, is they're actually paying artists based on the amount. They basically take individuals. So if somebody is paying $10 a month for SoundCloud Unlimited to not hear ads, and half of the month they spend listening to your music, you'll actually get that half of their revenue or whatever to you, because they only consumed you. Whereas like previously, or on Spotify and all these other ones, they'll basically take all of their revenue from ads and subscriptions, and they'll lump it into one lump sum, and then they'll take out their profits or whatever, or their costs, and then what's left is divided amongst everybody based on how many streams you got. And that might seem cool and all, but the thing that's annoying about that, and actually the Black Keys have a podcast. Black Keys talked about this on the Joe Rogan podcast, which is kind of a fun one to just learn about the insides of the music industry. I don't know if you listen. I don't know if you listen to Black Keys or not.
I love Black Keys, man. They were amazing when I was young, man. I was really into them. I think I haven't listened to Turn Blue or anything past Turn Blue, but those first 4 albums are like forever ingrained in my soul, man. 4 or 5 albums? I don't remember, but
yeah. But anyway, yeah, they kind of talked about how they always wish that that all these royalties were paid based on each individual's revenue and how much percentage they listen to you. And SoundCloud is actually now doing that, which actually means if you're actually getting people listening to you and you get people repeat listeners, you'll actually make more money as an artist per stream than you will on a Spotify or anything like that. And it piques me enough and interests me enough to where I'm even just trying to I'm working pretty actively to grow my SoundCloud. And that's the problem with SoundCloud. We talked about SoundCloud's hard to build on. One of the things that SoundCloud is absolutely shit with is discovery. Like it's so jacked how it works. Like unless you're if you go to any chart or anything like that on the homepage, you go look at the top 50, pop songs or whatever. It's not even by month or anything like that. It's just overall. So there's these tracks. You go to on the homepage, you can go to a playlist on the homepage and listen to top tracks, and all the top tracks are 7 years old. You're like, what the fuck kind of chart is this? How does that benefit? Yeah. How does that benefit anybody who's coming back to your website? I want to use my homepage to discover and listen to stuff, but like there's nothing. It's so hard to discover anything. Like the only reason I find anything new on SoundCloud is because I search for a genre and then I specifically filter based on uploads in the last hour. That's the only reason I can find anything new on SoundCloud. Otherwise, they don't do a lot to like promote artists or like have cool charts. You know, like there's no like Spotify discovery section like what they have, you know, where you can like discover new artists or like release radars. Like they don't have enough of that stuff. And I think that's where they really fall short. And honestly, I've actually considered, because I've messaged with the SoundCloud owner guy, because he's like in the chat threads all the time, and I've like messaged him just like various ideas of ways he can make it better and stuff.
In SubmitHub?
Yeah, on SubmitHub, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, well, yeah, he pops up all the time. Yeah, his name's Jeff. I mean, it's a small community. You can like reach out to him for sure. Yeah.
I need to connect with SubmitHub, man. I'm so focused on the music. I think I've been getting tunnel vision on the music, man. I really need to do that. That's really cool, man.
Yeah, and because I think honestly he has the tools with that platform to create the next SoundCloud and to like make it crazy. Like that hot or not section with the rating and how you can sort by charts based on the last 7 days, 3 days. You know, it's a live reading of what's going on in the industry, and there's some legit full-on artists that put music on there and like make it on the charts right next to independent artists who maybe have their first track on SubmitHub, and they're ranked side by side with artists that have followers of 100,000 people.
That I saw on there recently that put music on there. What's his name? I just saw an artist, a bigger artist, pop up on there. He's been blowing up. I can't remember his name, but I saw him on there, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. That I was wondering if it was his promoter that put it on there, if he actually put it on there himself. But
right.
Rod Wave. I think I saw Rod Wave on there.
Okay, yeah.
You know who that is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I don't really listen to his music that often, but I know he's huge. He's like a singer, like / rapper. But I mean, dude, like if you get a chance after this, just type in Rod Wave on YouTube. You don't even have to listen to the music. Look at his YouTube views, man.
What was his last name?
Wave. Rod Wave. And dude, insane, man. Like his YouTube views, it was like 24 hours. He was at like 7.7 million. I was like, or something like that. Something insane. I was like, oh my God. Like he's absolutely blown up right now. But I'm pretty sure I saw him on SubmitHub. And so I was like, that's pretty crazy that, you know, that these people are still putting stuff on SubmitHub like that when they're blowing up that hard, you know?
Definitely.
That's a cool part of it. I
mean, why not? If you're blown out that big, I mean, you're sitting on a lot of cash that's building from your streams to where you have cash to spend it on promotion and stuff like that. So why not put it on SubmitHub? Plus, they're also probably uploading it for the curation as well.
Yeah.
And so they're just popping up in Hot or Not because they're on there.
Yeah, that's true. I actually got put in. I got put in one playlist on there. It was I got my song. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's called Palette on there. Mm-hmm. It's on my SubmitHub. And actually, I got on a Spotify playlist through SubmitHub, so it definitely works. It wasn't a huge playlist by any means. You know, the little influencer bar, it was a one. You know, maybe had 1,000 followers or something like that, or maybe 900 followers on there. But you know, I was just stoked, you know, to have any sort of exposure or whatever you want to call it. You know, or people that even the person that listened to it to put it on there, I was stoked to have her listen to it and reach out to me and ask me to put it in their playlist. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for that. Yeah, I've done a couple. I think I've done like only 3 pitches for that. Otherwise, I've just only put money into the Hot or Not just because it's fun just to get feedback, and honestly, even that's a good way to actually discover people as well. So like, you know, I was saying like reach out to people on Instagram and SoundCloud just organically. I've actually been almost doing it exclusively recently through SubmitHub, because when SubmitHub, you know, you already first of all bust through the noise. Like if you go like search like freestyle on SoundCloud and sort by the last hour, my fucking God, there is some trash in there. Like most of it is really bad. And it's just like people talking about like murdering people. Like I've heard people talking about just like raping people. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like this is so fucked up.
No quality, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but you go to SubmitHub and you search, you know, rap and for the Hot or Not, and you find all kinds of like awesome stuff. Like the thing about SubmitHub is it breaks through all the noise, because nobody's going to invest in that if their stuff is bad. And if it is bad, they're going to get feedback really quick that it's bad, and maybe they're going to like pause the Hot or Not and maybe work on their track and get better.
Yeah.
but one thing that's nice is like, I mean, that's how I found you, was through the Hot or Not thing. Is so I'll listen to a track, and if it's dope, I'll like go to all their social channels and like go and comment on all their channels, be like, hey, this is fucking awesome. Like, I love what you're doing. You know, hit them up on SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram, and even just got a lot of follow backs that way. And the nice thing about it is you're finding people that are serious about music, because I really want to start doing a lot of collaborations.
Right.
And
one thing yes.
Yeah. And one thing that I've found is really hard with collaborations is finding people, and you know, I can't front anybody on this, especially since I'm trying to find people who are kind of starting off. It's hard to find people that have the time commitment and like the creative energy to like commit to it and like get stuff back from them. So, you know, I'll send stuff out to people, and it might take a while to get stuff back, which, you know, I don't want to force anything. You know, I don't ever try to rush anybody. I'm like, hey, you know, let's get this out. You know, I want people to take their time with it, because it is creative energy. You know, I don't want it to be forced. But you know, if you're just finding random people through SoundCloud or whatever, it's hard to find people that are like active. Whereas like SubmitHub, you know, people are more serious about it. They're active about it. So it's really easy to find people that are down to collaborate and like start working, you know, like right away.
I mean, they're spending money. You know, especially if you see my Hot or Not, you know, you see that I'm spending money already through the, you know, $6. It's not a lot. Yeah. But you know, the fact that, you know, that I'm spending money at all is obviously an indicator that I'm serious about it. And, you know, I'm the same way, man. Like that's the one thing I've had a hard time with, is finding people that are serious about it. I'll find people with unbelievably good tracks on Instagram and stuff. I found this guy who's in the same playlist as me, you know, and his track was unbelievable. And I reached out to him. I was like, hey, man, I love your music. He has maybe a bigger following than me. It wasn't, you know, slightly bigger. And, you know, I wanted to reach out to him. I was like, hey, man, you know, I love your work. I just wanted to get some, you know, hear more about where he's coming from and maybe find a potential collab. No answers, man. Nobody answers. It seems like nobody has active. It's like someone will put a project out every like 2-3 months, and they just do it as like a side thing. You know, it's like finding people that are serious about the industry and that actually like me, I want to go full time. I want to make, you know, like I'm like, I want to make millions out of my music. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I know it's worth it. So it's like, you know, that's what I want. I'm driven to make actual money and get a decent following so I can do this for my life. You know, like I want this to be my life. Finding people that are on that same wavelength, I feel like has been less than easy. It's not easy, you know, definitely reaching out to people, or I'll get messages on SubmitHub, and or not messages, but I'll get my Hot or Not, and they'll say, oh, you can click to message them, right? So I message everybody that it says click to message. I'll say, hey, man, you want to follow my socials, but I'd love to hear your music too, you know. And it's dead. Like nobody answers me, and it's not like I'm not doing it unprofessionally. I'm just, you know, trying to connect like a normal individual, you know, and showing them my music. I'm like, hey, you like my music, you commented on it, I'd love for you to, you know, I'd love for us to talk about it, you know, talk about my music. I can listen to yours. I can give you real opinions, you know, from a real person. But it's been, like you said, it's been a little bit difficult out there. And there's a lot of hot garbage out there, which is funny. And I can't hate either, man. I can't hate. When I started, let's just say we wouldn't be talking right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we wouldn't be having this conversation. You know, it's taken me 4 years plus to get to this point where I feel like I'm able to be serious about it and make money out of it, you know? So I can't judge, but,
I mean, we all were shit at some point. I mean, I was absolute garbage. Right? So like, I go back and listen to something I made like years ago. I'll even listen to stuff I made like 2 months ago, just because I'm always constantly learning more and more and more and more. And also some 2 months ago, I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? Man. This is trash. Like, I'm already close.
That's crazy, man. I've deleted a few tracks already off my SoundCloud, because I've been, especially with like learning to mix and master with Ableton and everything, you know. I just recently downloaded not Isotope. What plugins system was it? What am I using? Hold on.
This is for mastering?
Yeah, no, it's not for mastering. Oh yeah, it's for mastering. It's
is it Cloud Bounce?
No, FabFilter.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of FabFilter?
I've heard of it, but I've never used it.
Oh, dude, they have a 30-day free trial for all of their plugins. Best compressor, best de-esser I've ever used. Like, it's plug and play de-esser and compressor. Like, if you go and Google right now, best compressor or best plug-in compressor or best de-esser, I guarantee FabFilter was at the #1 of every website. And I understand how that marketing works. Like, yeah, maybe FabFilter paid them to be on the top of the list, whatever, right? Like, I get it, you know, but I used it, completely upped my game. So anybody out there listening that's looking to up their plug-in game, buying it is expensive. I think each plugin is maybe $150, $200. So it's expensive.
Yeah.
But I've watched like Kenny Beats videos, and I've watched a few of these other producers' videos, and then they show their vocal chain or their plugin chain, and Fab Filter is always the EQ that they use every time. I've noticed. Like, so they say, "Oh,
Yeah.
Fab Filter on here," and I'm like, "Wow!" So it really does work. People out there that if anybody is listening and wants to give their plugin game, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't remember exactly where I was going with that, but yeah, it's there's a lot of good plugins out there with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
One thing I like about Ableton too is how light all the built-in plugins are. Like I have now not hitting I've actually seen Fab Filter a lot. It's something I didn't realize they had a free trial. I don't know why they wouldn't have a free trial, but it makes sense. I gotta go try it out. But I love that Ableton, everything runs like super light. Like I came off of Logic Pro X before Ableton. And even the stock plugins of Logic, man, like I couldn't even run that complex of chains, and my computer would start to like lag, and I'd start to get like artifacts and stuff like that. And I'm on like a new I bought my iMac like a year ago, and I bought like the full processing iMac I could possibly get without buying an iMac Pro, because those ones are like crazy. Those are like $5,000 for an iMac Pro, and Logic was even like fucking like having a hard time running. I'm like, what the fuck is going? Like, this isn't even that complex. Like, it would crash. I kept changing my like bitrate and stuff like that, and I couldn't get it to balance. And by the time I got the bitrate to where it wasn't artifacting, it was there was way too much of a delay. It was like because I play a lot of guitar and stuff like that. It was so fucking hard to like play in sync with the guitar. So I would just have to monitor directly the guitar. It was just kind of a pain in the ass. But Ableton, everything runs like so light. Like, I'm amazed at how fat I can make an effects stack, and Ableton is just like the CPU thing's only at like 17%. I'm like, yeah, that's more what I was expecting when I bought a fucking expensive ass computer.
Ableton's unreal, man. I'm like, anybody out there that is listening and you're not using Ableton, you should just give it a trial. There's a 90-day free trial out there for Suite, for the Max one, and it's an unreal software. It's extremely powerful. I haven't started making beats yet. I know how to make beats, but I haven't started yet, like doing it regularly. But I mean, the amount of instruments and stuff that it gives you is nuts, man. So the
Suite comes with a lot.
It comes with a lot. It does. It comes with like, I think mine had, I don't know, however many gigabytes of plugins, and effects and drums and stuff. So it's a super, super powerful software. It's the software Kanye uses. I really suggest that, and learning it, of course, there's going to be a learning curve with anything. But once you get over that learning curve, I mean, it's like you feel like you have the power of God in your hands, music God.
Exactly, yeah.
So you can do just about anything. You know what I'm saying? I never went to school for engineering. I never went to school for mixing or production or music at all, and with just some videos and time, I've learned how to, mix decent. I've gotten decent comments on my mixes and my masters. Like, I've gotten people talking complete shit about it too, right? It's going to happen. Yeah. But, for me and for my level, I'm happy with it, and I learn.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's not perfect, but, I'm stoked to be at the level I'm at just for a few months, and so anybody can do it. You know what I'm saying?
I started making, so I made a commitment because there is just so much in the Ableton Suite. And I've actually, because I was kind of I kept buying various VSTs and stuff like that, whether they're effects plugins or, synths or whatever. I kept buying them. I'm like, I just want more, expand the library. And I was like, you know what, I should master what I have before I keep buying more. And so I've kind of taken that approach, and more so now with Ableton. So like, I've spent the last few weeks learning Operator in Ableton. It's like their FM synthesizer. And just going to town, just learning everything I can possibly learn about the fundamentals of a synthesizer, and getting as much out of one synth as I can before I go crazy buying more. Like, I was thinking about buying like the Arturia like synth collection, because it's like, I think it's like $200, and you get like you get digital versions of like all of their synthesizers, and it's like the actual synths with like all the knobs and everything. But it's on a computer. You're not like actually sitting there with the actual keyboard, but it's still a good deal. But I'm like, no, like I'm just gonna see how much I can get out of synthesizers in Ableton before I get too crazy buying all these other ones. And so that's what I did. And I'm actually gonna start selling like presets. So I'll shoot you over my presets. Cool. You can test it for me and let me know if it sounds good before I put it up for sale.
Hey, shoot it over, man. You always know I'm going to give honest opinions. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. That's dope, man. Yeah, Operator's cool. I was using I used way back when I first started learning. I used a cracked version of Serum when I was still learning, before I decided to buy equipment and stuff. I wanted to just try it out, so I got a cracked version of Serum. dude, these synthesizers are unbelievably powerful, man. You can make some crazy sounds, man. Because I'm a huge house music fan, and I like UK house, grime, bass house, and stuff like that too. You know, so that has like a lot of wobbles and a lot of crazy synth sounds, you know. And I'll go to festivals too, like like EDC and massive festivals in California, Insomniac festivals. And some of those sounds, man, you know, they're Serum. You know what I'm saying? I know what's his name? Tiesto uses Serum. And, you know, and he uses a few other stuff. So, you know, the sounds you can make with them are incredible, man. You know, it's all about just putting that work in, you know. But but I've heard, I haven't used much Operator, but I've heard it's pretty powerful as it is. Yeah.
There's a guy on YouTube. His name is, I think Seed to Stage is his name. And,
Seed to Stage?
Seed to Stage, yeah. SEED to Stage.
Oh, Seed to Stage. Oh, got it. Okay, like
he's got a lot of good Ableton videos, and he actually has like a 4-part series where he talks about Operator, and like one video is like a half hour long, 2 videos are an hour, but he kind of breaks it all down. So I just watch those videos. And now I like am 100% comfortable with Operator and feel like I can make any sound I want to just with Operator. Because when you open Operator, when you're just messing with it initially, it's like, all right, this makes some weird fucking sounds. Like, this doesn't really sound that great. I'm going to go open up Serum and load a preset in Serum, right? But just learning how to use it is super powerful, and it can do a lot. And one thing with Operator is it's designed to be stacked with all the other effects in Ableton, like, you know, loading in an LFO on top of that, and using like an LFO and using all the other effects that are in Ableton to basically make a synthesizer within Ableton. So that's what I'm doing with like my presets, is I'll have like an instrument rack that has like 1 or 2 sessions of Operator loaded up with like a chain to like go in between 2 separate operators that are different sounds, and then have an effect stack on that instrument rack and everything's mapped to the macros with variations. So it's going to be the same as when you open up like Serum and you have like presets to choose from. It's going to be the same way, and there's going to be like quick macro sliders to adjust various elements that are already mapped to Operator. So basically I'll have the goal with the Operator pack I'm making now is it's going to be 10 Operator instruments, and then each instrument is going to have like 15 presets in it. So it's going to be 10 Operator instruments with 150 total presets, and you can just load it up in Ableton and start using it. And the cool thing about it is, because it's made in Ableton and it's just like an instrument rack, you can see the workings of it. So if you want to go adjust something, you can like go into the back door of Operator and change it. Whereas, you know, like a Serum or something like that, you know, you get all the main knobs of the synthesizer, but you can't go behind the word working and see how it's put together to actually change, you know, an insane amount about it. But regardless, whatever synth you're using, I mean, if anybody is starting to use synths, I would like highly recommend that, you know, instead of buying 5 synth presets, whatever you're using, whether it's Serum or Operator, just learn the fundamentals of a synthesizer and learn how envelopes work and LFOs work and everything, attack, decay, sustain, you know, release, all that stuff, how those work, and just master the basics of a synthesizer, and then maybe get into expanding your synthesizer library. Because honestly, if you get good at learning how to use a synth, you only need one good synth base to create all the presets you could possibly need. Like you know, if you have Serum, all you need is Serum to make any synth sound you need. Or if you have Operator and Ableton, all you need is Operator, and you can make any synth sound you could possibly imagine.
Crazy.
And I didn't really learn those for a while. You know, I would open up, you know, like any synth, you know, Serum or Hybrid or, you know, even Operator, and I would load up a preset, and then I'd be like, all right, I want to change this sound just a little bit. Like, this is close. And I'd fucking turn knobs, have no idea what I was doing. I'd break the sound, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck any of this, because, you know, you open up a synth and there's a lot of knobs. If you don't know what it is, it's a lot to digest.
Oh yeah, man. Just like a DAW. When I first started using the DAW, you know, I mean, it looks insane, man. And much less going in plugins, you know. But like you said, you know, just learning to do it is the best choice you could ever make for yourself. For anybody out there that's you know, just starting or getting into music, you know, music creation, like especially what I'm doing, like hip hop or whatever you're doing, you know, it doesn't really matter. But if you're using any type of DAW, learning it yourself, you're owning the means of operation of your operation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's super, super important for whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, anybody out there, it's worth the time. It's going to be painful. Like, man, I think one of the big things I've learned, about, you know, through making music and everything is there's a lot of growing pains in general. Like, everything in the beginning is going to be a growing pain, and you're not going to like making music is going to be fun for the outsider looking in. They're like, that's got to be fun, right? Like they hear the music, they're like the fun track, like that's fun. It's fun to do it once you learn, but when you're learning, it's very difficult, and it can be very difficult. It can be brutal, but it's always worth it to just hop in and start doing it yourself. You know, letting other people control the recording and mixing and mastering, like that's important. You know, later, you know, potentially if you're going to become, you know, like you're getting that professional level where that so many people are listening to it that you mixing it is just not cutting it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like that's going to happen with artists. I think potentially that'll happen with me eventually, you know what I'm saying? But at this point, I don't have the money to spend to send it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the money to spend to send it off to someone for $150, $200 to mix it and master it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't have that.
It's good to learn it anyway. It's good to have an idea of how it's supposed to work, just so you know what you might find, you know, that you're actually really good at it. Maybe you like doing it, and then maybe that's a service you can offer to other people, and you can stay in the industry by making money off of mixing and mastering. You know, maybe you find an element that you're really good at that is a service you can offer to somebody else. But, you know, unless you know, you're never going to know. You know, if you're like a mechanic, you know, let's say you're really good at like fixing a carburetor, you know, you don't just stop at learning a carburetor. Like, all right, I know how to use a carburetor, and now let's figure out how to like attach it to the engine, and you know, and get, you know, maybe I'll learn about, you know, how to replace a head gasket in the engine, you know, all these things. You know, you might as well expand it so you know as much about how to work on that car. You know, it's the same with music. You know, if you got your head down and only focus on one element of it, you might be missing out on something else, you know, entirely. And it would benefit you just to learn it anyway, because why wouldn't you at least try to learn it? And you know, it's something that if you do know, it can be easy to figure out, but you know, obviously it takes a while to train your ears to, you know, do these things and, you know, get your effect stack down and figure out if you're over compressing, you know, all these various elements. It's tricky. Those are
big things, man. Those are big things that you don't notice in the beginning. Like I'll just know the sound. Like at the beginning, I just used to know the sound was wrong. I'm like, this isn't the sound I want. You know, I'm not getting the sound out of it that I want. And like something like overcompression, like that was something I had a problem with on Violets. Like it was overcompressed at first, and I was like, God, this sounds horrible. I'm like, why does it sound like that? You know, but watching videos and everything, I took the knowledge I learned from all the months of doing it and just tweaking and found out what it was. And now I know I'll never overcompress again, you know? So it may have taken hours of me digging through all of my vocal chains and everything to, maybe not hours, couple hours, what I'm saying, you know, to dig through all my vocal chain and change all the knobs and everything. But it's worth it because now I understand what overcompression is. I understand how it can crush a mix and how it can destroy a sound, or even using, you know, some of the wrong settings on a compressor. You know, it's like, but learning what those instruments do and how they, or whatever you call it in an instrument. But if you learn what those plugins do and how they work, you can learn why your mix sounds wrong and change it yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have a lot of control over that. Also, Nick, hate to cut you off, but I only have about 5 or 10 minutes more because I got to go to lunch with my family. Because, you know, but I do want to do another one of these calls ASAP, man, 100%. But I wanted to bring one thing up for everyone that's listening. From you, I have a question for you, since this was a music promotion combo, obviously. Oh, crap. Hold on. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. I think my dad's leaving. Hold on. I want to tell him to wait. Sorry. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Was it fun? I hope you guys are getting some useful information here. This has kind of been this is the first time I've done something like this. I do want to start a podcast and get a podcast going, so I might start doing that and turn these into like YouTube videos, and that way people can go back through and rewatch them. I think there might be a way for me to download this and share it on YouTube and stuff, but I'm not 100% certain. But yeah, we kind of started this because I just connected with him, and we were talking about music promotion, ways he can promote his music and stuff, and we were just going to have it be a call, and I was like, yeah, let's make it live. So now we're doing it live, and you good?
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hey, hate to do it to you. So sorry. That was not very professional, but yeah, I just told them, but I got another like 5 minutes before I got to leave.
Yeah.
But I was just saying, so what would be a good plan of attack for a beginner? Like, say someone like myself, like not a total beginner, but someone like, what would be the first major step to take in all this? Because I mean, we talked about monetization, we talked about advertisements, we talked about Squarespace, MailChimp, building mailing lists. You know, that's a lot of things for people. You know, what would be a good like day one or first week, first month to get focused on.
Yeah.
I'm doing music. What else can I add that would be a big thing for me to
well, let's start with the free shit, because that's easy, right? Everyone's spending money on their gear. So do the outreach on your platforms. You know, if you're on SoundCloud or Instagram, you know, go engage with people, you know, and have genuine interest in what they're doing, and go follow them and try to get followers back at you, and just to build that following. Because before, you know, you're gonna need a following to do anything, and so commit the time. You know, even if you're just like taking a shit or something like that, bring your phone in there with you and just spend your time commenting. Like if you have time on your day where you're just messing around on your phone, this is what I've been doing. Is I've just, instead of, you know, going and watching a random video or something like that, I just go to social media and just follow people and just like outreach and just get butts in the seats. You know, you need to find people that are interested in what you're doing. So, you know, day one, just build that following. You know, you're going to want to stick your head down and spend most of your time in making your music, since that is sort of like the product that your brand is using. But it only goes so far if nobody's listening. You need to get people listening. You need to get an engaged audience. You need people to work with. So reach out to people on all your platforms and just spend a half hour every day just engaging with people, just following people, and just trying to get more people following you. You know, you might get 5 to 10 followers a day, you know, over the course of 100 days. You know, you might have 500 followers. You know, just keep building that. Yeah, for your launch, I mean, I would definitely recommend, you know, checking out Andrew's videos that I mentioned, and scheduling some Facebook ads in order to send them to your Spotify for that track you're about to release in your launch.
Okay.
And you know, definitely commit some money to that, and I can help you with different like ad creative and stuff like that. I mean, I do all kinds of video editing and all that kinds of stuff, so it's pretty easy for me to pump out an easy ad. Because yeah, I'm down to kind of be a resource for you and help you out with whatever you need. But yeah, that engaging is everything. Get butts in the seats. Once you're all ready to start putting money behind it, you know, if you have a YouTube, the YouTube ads is a really easy bang for your buck. I mean, I've spent maybe only $20 on YouTube ads and gotten like a bunch of followers and like hundreds of views and like hours of listening time, you know, downloads for my music cheat sheet and all that kind of stuff. And then once you're ready to start getting into it more, you know, maybe that's when you have your website and, you know, your links dialed and stuff like that. You know, if you don't have if you don't want to spend any money on a website or anything initially, there are free versions of like Linktree and stuff that you can use. And I would definitely recommend that, especially like for your Instagram. I noticed you just have pasted links in there. You're not even using the links feature of Instagram. So if anybody on your profile wants to copy links, I actually have to like select it and copy it, which is, you know, a lot of people. Yeah.
It's so hard to tell. I should have known that. That's good to know.
Yeah. So if you go to your settings, there's actually a website section, and you can only have one link at a time. That's like an actual active link you can click. And so just pick a link for that, whichever platform you're trying to grow. But maybe even just consider getting a free link tree and just having your Spotify, your Apple, your SoundCloud, you know, your YouTube, all that stuff in that link tree. Unless you're ready to get into a website, and then, you know, maybe you have a website and set up a link tree on the website and use your website for that. We can get into that later once you have more time. But yeah, I would say that's where to start off. Is that a good answer to that question? Or?
I think that's a great answer. Yeah, I think that's a great answer. I think I'm gonna focus on doing that. I think maybe I'm gonna try to see if I can't spend maybe a half hour, or not trying. I'll definitely start doing maybe about a half hour of engaging with my followers, maybe getting a little bit more serious about my Instagram. I think that's
not even just with your followers, but like search a hashtag, like go for whatever your audience is. Like, you know, if you want to find other rappers or, you know, whatever it is, search for a hashtag that people are posting in, and then just go engage with the most recent posts, not even the top posts, just go to the recent, because those are people that just posted, they're on their app, they're looking at their app, they're excited, they're refreshing, waiting to see if anybody's commenting on their shit. Go talk to those people, because they're already there, and you're very likely to convert those people into followers for you as well.
Got it. That's a great idea. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing. I think that makes a lot of sense. I want to get into that. And like you said, maybe setting up some Facebook ads for my Spotify release. Make sure. I also want to kind of narrow and dial down my brand. I want to get more like of a, like you have for Girly Records, how you have the picture, you know, Gorley, right?
Gorley, yeah.
Gorley, okay.
Tricky one.
Okay, good. Yeah, don't want to say it wrong. You know, you have your picture with the G or whatever it is. You know,
yeah,
I want to
logo.
Your little logo. I want to get a little logo and kind of narrow down my brand. Get face shots and stuff, or headshots. up on my Spotify and kind of tighten up my Spotify account and then start doing all that stuff. But yeah, thank you, Nick. I appreciate it and everything. I hate to cut it off so short. I didn't realize
all good.
The time literally flew. It's been about an hour and a half already.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was, and it felt like it was about 15 minutes.
Yep.
But I feel like it was a good place to start. Definitely look forward to working with you more, man, and doing more collabs and everything. I'll be doing, you know, I'm trying to get a song a week done here, out here, you know, or faster, you know, if possible, you know, 4 or 5 days.
Yep. Oh, I'm losing you. Cutting out.
Yeah, I saw that for a second. There was a little lag there. So yeah, man, definitely we'll keep in contact. I'll message you a little bit later, and let's see. You know, maybe I'll have a few more questions about all this stuff and see if we can't get moving forward with some stuff, man.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Awesome. All right, Nick.
Everybody, go follow Paisley Concepts. Go check out his YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram. Blow him up. Give him some love.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate the love. We'll do this again soon, and get into some deeper topics and get everyone out there that's serious about what they're doing deep into it and get everybody winning. You know, that's what we want.
What it's all about, man.
All right, man. Thanks, Nick. We'll see.
All right, take it easy.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, boss.
Later.
All right.
All right, so that was the first of hopefully many podcasts to come. If you enjoyed that and got use out of it, got some good tips, hit that subscribe button down below. Got more of these coming. If you have any questions about music promotion or marketing or needing a website or anything like that, I can help you with a lot of that stuff. So I'm here to reach out with any questions. So let me know if I can help with anything. And in the meantime, have a good rest of your day. Hopefully you got some useful out of this.